All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sisters for Harmony. We are super excited to have our guest this evening, the amulet designer, and I'll let Brother Umoja share why he chose to say amulet as opposed to jewelry. And I'm not saying I disagree in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying. So,
Ay, ay, ay.
all right. So, Brother Omoja, actually, I need you to take over real quick because I'm getting a message from StreamYard. So I need to see if there's something I need to take care of.
Okay. Well, Hotep, peace and blessings, family. I greet you in the name of God and the ancestors in whose footsteps I most humbly walk. I am here with someone very special to us, to UCCI, PIV. I've known her for several years. I'm blessed to say that she trusts me with stuff. Wow. I got she is the sister who does all the amulets for Kadaga, our web series. And just before she left, Dr. Wall said something. Why do I use the word amulet instead of jewelry? The word jewelry has this energy to it. It's an energy that I did not want to bring into Kadaga because when you say jewelry, it means it doesn't have the power. In that word doesn't have the power that I was looking for in the direction I was
Mhm,
looking for in Kadaga. So as I watch what she does with the pieces of art in her hand that the creator puts in her hand, it's far past jewelry. And when I'm looking at what we do as Kemetic people, so I took the word amulet because an amulet has a certain amount of vibration to it, which she works with, and she's going to explain that. An amulet has so much a direction to it. Every
mhm,
amulet signifies something. And when you take it in, you're taking it as power, as energy with you, and you are identifying yourself. That is not something jewelry does. And what she
mhm,
does is not jewelry. She does amulets. So you have to be mindful when you touch her stuff, when you purchase her stuff.
mhm,
Because
mhm.
if you're not looking for a change, you're gonna get a change.
That's right.
And that's what it does. And that's what amulets do. That's why we use the word amulet. So when someone says an amulet, they're telling you a certain message. And I'm
Mhm,
really proud to see what she's doing. She's an architect on top of that, so she understands the 360 degrees. She understands
mhm,
the pyramids because she's an architect. She put things together for different reasons. So I'm really proud to have her be part of the Kadaga family. So Dr. Walls, why don't you introduce this really unique person?
Well, she is getting shout outs already. Regina
I
Goodrich
know.
says hello, everyone. You also got a hey, Ann. So I don't know if you can
Hey.
see who that's coming from. And then Samu Ankh is saying
Hmm,
hello.
yes,
So
Hello, hello. Greetings to all.
yes, and if people can put in where they're chatting in from, and as we're talking, if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat room. We'll get to as many as we can. For
yeah.
those who are joining us for the first time, let me just tell you a little bit about Sisters for Harmony. Sisters for Harmony is our registered nonprofit, and the specific purpose is to unite women of all backgrounds and cultures in the local community to guide and support the next generation of young women through mentoring, education, and teaching them to live with a purpose and work towards a common goal by harmonizing their talents, skills, and abilities. We focus on education, empowerment, networking, mentoring, and uniting. And so I know you heard the women piece, and you're probably saying, okay, but I see Brother Ed Umoja up there. So how does he fit into this woman's piece? And Brother Moses, share with them how you fit into this space.
I'm still trying to figure that one out myself.
Besides following directions from your wife, how you fit in this space.
Well, back in 2009 when we started Sisters in Harmony, the reason we started is because I was doing projects and I wanted to put more positive images of our women back into the community on a mental,
Mhm,
physical, and spiritual level. And I said the word more. There's people doing it, so I said the word more to respect those who are doing it before me.
mhm,
And so I I started doing these posters, and then my vice president, who ended up being the sister who ended up being my vice president, Ruby, kind of put me in a spiritual headlock. I said, "Why don't you start an organization? Just make this, and then." She started throwing these things at me, and I said, "Hey, this is a great idea." And so I started the organization, and I dedicated the work in the organization to my mother, who had made
Mm-hmm.
a transition in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And as a single mom, because my dad, and people who know my background, my dad was an abusive alcoholic, and so as a single mom, my mother, I never remember her getting any awards for being a phenomenal woman. And what she did as a single black woman in New York City back in the 60s and 70s when we were
Mm-hmm.
myself and my siblings was growing up. So I dedicated my work in Sisters in Harmony to my mom. And I kept
Mm-hmm.
the membership to women only. And I made the men be supporters of the women. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we started, the women were the members only. Even I, as the president, founder, was not a member. So
Mm-hmm.
the women, this was for women only. Membership was for women only, but the men came in to support the women and what they were doing. And I wanted to show
Yeah.
that balance because in our community, at that even now, I see that we still have a certain amount of disrespect for women on a lot of different levels, which disturbed me because I was raised by my mom and I knew what my mom went through. So I wanted Sisters in Harmony to put a light out into the global community to where
Mm-hmm.
we show the power of the women, and we show the men respect the women and support the women. So that's
Yeah.
where we come
Yeah.
from.
So, although we are a women's organization, we recognize the power and the importance of men and the masculine energy in the work that needs to be done within the global community. So, Brother Umoja, first and foremost, thank you for listening to Ruby, who is currently on vacation. So, that's why she's not here tonight, but she'll be back next month. And the work that we do, and I thank you also, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't know Annafiera here. So I mean, the connection is strong. So I had the opportunity to meet her as your mentee, and I think that's very important, because a lot of times when we think about mentoring, we think about same-sex
Hmm.
mentoring, and that's not the case in your case. And I have male mentees as well, and I have male mentors as well. So go ahead, Brother
Hmm.
Moji. You were about to say something.
Interesting, you say what you just said, Dr. Walls. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the reason I met Annafiera was because of
Uh-huh.
Sisters in Harmony.
No, I didn't know that.
She
Yes,
Annie, you remember that?
I do. I do. Many, many years ago,
Yeah.
long time ago.
And the first time we physically met is for me to take some images of her for one of the Sisters in Harmony poster, and I met her in Prospect Park in Brooklyn.
That is correct.
Yep. So Sisters in Harmony has, and I would say it has a spiritual base to it, because one thing people look at system, we don't touch anything that disrespect women, and we don't touch anything that put us in a position where we have to hit our heads to each other, female male energy bouncing here. We do things that bring us together to start conversations. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have to agree, but we respect each level, each position. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing about Sisters in Harmony. It made it such a unique and I think a spiritual thing. So yeah, I met Annfiera because of Sisters in Harmony.
Wow. All right. So let's get you. People have been seeing your beautiful face for these last 8 minutes, and it's like, okay, let's hear her voice. So why
Yes.
don't you
Yay.
why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, background, the work that you do, and then we're going to get into the amulet piece.
Okay. So I am a degreed architect. As Ed mentioned, I met him many years ago to work on a project for Sisters in Harmony.
Mhm.
We've always been driven to unite women and, in particular, kind of like provide that nurturing that we tend to lack right now in our community. It's very
Mhm.
important that we embrace that because that kind of molds the upcoming generation. It's very easy for us to say, the younger generation may not doing this, they're not doing this correctly,
Mhm.
but we cannot expect them to do something if they're not taught to.
That's right.
Mhm.
So, yes, background, architecture, um,
How
always
did
had a
you
love.
get into architecture?
So, I think I remembered from a past life. I'm just joking. Um, but yeah, that does have a part to playing it. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been driven to the pyramid. I always had a fascination about pyramids,
Mm-hmm.
what they are. When I was at school, they taught us that pyramids were tombs. But as you do research, you find out they're
Mm-hmm.
actually more than tombs. They're actually
Mm-hmm.
energy sources, right?
Mm-hmm.
Electrical sources. And so I've always been driven to the pyramid, which led me down the path of loving Victorian homes, going to school in Philadelphia and
Mm-hmm. Where
frequent,
you go to
frequent.
school? Where you go to school?
I went to Temple University.
That's right, to you. Come
See
on, fight,
you.
fight, fight for the cherry and the white.
Yes,
Y'all know.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And I'm frequenting the Germantown area where they're beautiful, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous Victorian homes. Kind of like continue to grow that urge, that 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 I guess that drive, that connection
Mm-hmm.
with whatever ancient secrets that was there for me to discover.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as I can go back, I've always been somewhat creative. Growing up with my grandma, she was very creative. She always would make something out of nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
I think being around her and experiencing that kind of got me thinking creativity on a creative level, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so all of those different things put together kind of like pushed me down the path of architecture, being
Yeah.
able to think of something, being able to think of a design, a layout, and then being able to translate that into something physical that you can actually walk through and
Mm.
know that this came from my mind, it
Mm-hmm.
gives you a certain level of accomplishment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that type of thinking kind of translated through many aspects of my life, from modern relics being born, being birthed
Mm-hmm.
about 2 to 3 years ago, to me designing my clothing that I wear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It affects everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
let's talk about now. There's some Caribbean roots to you, darling.
Yes, so I was born in Guyana, which is in
Mm-hmm.
South America, and I was raised in St. Lucia. So I tell people that I'm Guy Lucian. I appreciate both of them, right?
That's
Um,
right.
yes.
It's so interesting because I had a chance to speak with Crystal Jonas Clark last week, who's from St. Lucia. And she talked about being in pageantry when she was younger and how they had to make things, quote unquote, out of nothing, right? And how that it unlocked this creativity inside of her that she now uses to this day as a fashion designer,
Yeah.
because she doesn't just see junk, right? She sees an opportunity. And it sounds like that same early unlocking took place with you and was also, helped with your grandmother.
Yes. I mean, I worked on so many different craft projects with my grandma, from baking to making straw hats to
Mm,
embroidery, crochet, all those things,
mhm,
Um, it gave me the feel for taking your bare hands and creating something.
mhm,
And like I said, that has translated to so many different aspects of my life. When I look at something, I can visually take it apart and put it back
mm.
together. And that's what makes me know if I can actually duplicate it or take the concept of it and create something better.
That's so interesting. I never thought about it that way before. Being able to look at it and deconstruct it so that
Yep.
you can
Mhm.
reconstruct it.
That
Mhm.
that's what I do with everything, from
Mhm.
walking into a space and looking at the layout bird's eye view,
Mhm.
to looking at a piece of jewelry and deconstructing it and putting it back together in my head and tying in my own creative aspect to make it my own.
Mm.
Hey, Dr. Walls,
Yeah,
I'd like to say something really quick.
of course.
Um, I will people who are listening, um, because I know Anfiera for years.
Mhm.
If you have young girls or young people around you in your home, or you know young people, you have daughters, young nieces somewhere,
Mhm.
please get them in front of the screen to listen to her.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Dr. Walls, can you put the link? How do people to share the link to watch this, because the reason I'm saying this is we don't really see women of color with the skill sets that she has. You're
Mm-hmm.
talking about an architect and someone who designs amulets. And she just said something. She said how she takes things apart in her mind
Apart.
and
Mm-hmm.
put them back together. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of our young people who have some tremendous skill sets inside of them, and they're about to bubble out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying to the people who are listening, if you know young people, especially young girls,
Mm-hmm.
who you see them always playing with stuff, taking it apart in their hands and looking at things differently, you need to get them in front of her right now as as she's here with us,
She's
and
live.
let them
Mm-hmm.
listen to someone who has got an architect degree, who
Mm-hmm.
has her own business and does a lot of things. So, Dr. Walls, if yeah, please thank you for putting that in there. And
Yeah.
family, please share it with people. Call them, send it to them, let them know. I'm not trying to get the numbers up for the show. I make that
Mm-hmm.
very clear. What we have to do as elders is when we have young people who are as powerful and as focused as Annfiera, we need to put other younger people in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Our job as elders is to guide our young people to the right space.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Annfiera here right now. Please take the time and get in touch with the young people you know who might just be watching TV right now and playing in the computer, and tell them to watch this because they need to
Mm-hmm.
hear what she has to say.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. So, and I want you to share, years ago when you said to Anna the importance of her role in really in the world and how young people would look up to her.
Well,
Oh boy.
as you know, for a lot of people don't know I'm a Kemetic priest. I'm a Kemetic elder. I was brought into the circle by Grandmaster Cam, and Grandmaster gave me a lot of things to do. And when when I got my unc as an unc carrier, I said to him, "What was my role?" And I was asking, "What was my role and what I'm doing?" And so when
Uh-oh, you
became
fading out, Anna.
part,
I don't know.
and I always said Spirit guided her to me, because no way in the heck I knew this young lady. She was in New York, I was in New Jersey, and how
Well,
Spirit
I
moves us,
apologize for
I
this
understood
technical
that.
difficulty. I think
And
it might
so
be on my end.
taught
If
her.
you can, Anna, can you still hear
So
me?
for me
Okay.
right
I can hear
now,
you. Yes, I
as a
can.
Kemetic elder,
Okay.
I'm very happy to see her doing. And like I said to her when did we meet her? Sunday? Was it Sunday we had brunch with her?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Sunday.
And I said to her, "You are now a leader." She is now a leader. And I said that to her
Mhm.
because she said something to us, and I said, "No, you are now a leader." And because we need her energy out there. So when I met her in Prospect Park donkey years ago, and what I see now is, and we bumped our heads. She said, "Oh man, you're taking away my fun."
Oh boy.
And I said to her, "No, I'm not taking your fun away. I'm just giving you what Spirit gave me to give to you. And what
Mhm.
you do with it's up to you." Like Grandmaster always told me, I give it to you what you do. And to see her doing the things that she's doing now with the amulets and stuff and the vibrations and all this stuff, I just sit back and I
Mhm.
smile because I allowed Spirit to talk to me to talk to her, and I'm happy about that right now.
Mhm.
Just to interject real quick, a lot
Yeah.
of times they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And
Mhm.
that is very true. The time when I met Ed, there was a lot of knowledge that he was throwing my way. And I listened, and I heard what he was saying, but it wasn't until years later that it actually sank in and I kind of
Mhm.
comprehended and applied it to my everyday life. One of
Mhm.
the things that he said to me a very long time ago, and I don't know if you remember saying this to me, but you said, frequency is everything. And
Mhm.
at the time, I didn't understand what you meant by that. You said vibration, frequency is everything. And now, fast forward all these years later, I see how true that is. And
Mhm.
this is what I tell people: everything is frequency. Okay, the sound that comes out of your throat, if
Mhm.
you put your hand in this area, you feel the vibration. That is a
Mhm.
frequency.
Mhm.
You know, what you take in is frequency, right?
Mhm.
And this is after years of Ed saying this to me that I had to go do my own research, and it was a part of my growth to fully understand that. Um, we are made up of 82% water. We understand how water frequency affects water. There's
Mhm.
many different different experiments done on this.
Mhm.
One book that I read a long time ago was The Hidden Secrets in Water.
Mhm.
So, in understanding that, we have to be so mindful of what we take in, what we listen to, because it will affect the water within our system.
Yes.
We have to be mindful of the frequency we put out, the words we speak. And I'm sure we can go much deeper with it, but just on the surface. That was one of the things that Ed said to me a very long time ago, but I didn't fully understand what he was saying until now, years later. It makes sense to me. I get it.
Mhm. 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 Go ahead, Evan.
No, everything Anfiera is saying, and those who are listening who understand, may you be Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, whatever religious belief that you have, we understand that we are vessels
Mhm.
and we are here for spirit to use us. And once we open those pathways and spirit, and we allow spirit to use us, powerful things, beautiful things come out of us. And
Mhm.
so all I did was just give Anfiera the pieces I was given to her. And once I did that, I understood that I stepped back. Sometimes I didn't see her for a long time. And sometimes I did. And sometimes when we spoke for like 2, 3 hours on the phone. And I
Mhm.
know she used to get, she was like, oh,
Consistently.
boy.
Yeah, every time I saw his number, I'm like, oh Lord. But but the thing about it is when I hang up the phone, I hang up the phone with so much knowledge,
Mhm.
just so much that even
Yeah.
Mhm.
now I'll replay certain things that we've discussed and it makes sense, you know.
Mhm.
And I feel very blessed to have had Ed to instill plant those seeds is what he say. You plant
Mhm.
those seeds, and
Mhm.
as you water it, it grows, it blossoms. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's very important that we continue that, specifically in our community, because we have that break. We have
Mhm.
that break in transferring information from us, older, mature, that has been
Mhm.
through different hurdles and tribulations, and passing it on
Mhm.
to the younger generation, so they can start off much further than where we started off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. I'm glad she said that, Dr. Walls, because for us as parents, I think my goal as a parent was always to make sure my son becomes greater than me. And so I passed on to my son as much as I could. I passed on, and that's my biological son, or maybe my spiritual son or spiritual children,
Mhm.
because I truly believe my grandparents gave me so I could be better, so I give them so they could be better.
Mhm.
And as Anfiera is talking, and that's very important that we understand that, because all I did was just give Anfiera what was in me for her in the first place. See, because Spirit used me as a vessel to give it to her.
Mhm.
And so I just truly just gave her what was in me for her, and what she has done with it. Now I sit back and smile. It just reminds me that Spirit is real. God is real.
Mhm.
Whatever name you call it, whatever name you want to call that entity, Allah, Abdul Mari, whatever you want to call that entity, that entity is real. And
Mhm.
how we function every day is a reflection of our relationship with that entity.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so people who see me smile and stuff like that, who have see me, that's my relationship. So I just gave to Anfiera what was hers that Spirit had put inside of me, and I'm so happy to see her taking it and running with it and doing the things that she's doing.
Go ahead, Anna. What's going through your mind?
Um, oh, myself? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like I was just responding to a text message, a couple of my
Okay.
friends, and sending them the link.
Fantastic.
No, nothing really going through my mind. I'm just listening to Ed, and I'm having some flashbacks that
Mhm.
various conversations we had back then.
Yes.
Some, I was open to receiving then, and some I wasn't. But
Yeah.
I will say that everything that he said, he's been dead on. He's been on point with it, and
Mhm.
I'm appreciative that I've had that guidance. You
Mhm.
know, growing up, I've always surrounded myself with much more mature individuals.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told many times I had an old soul, because I
Mm-hmm.
connect so well, but being around more mature individuals, that has got me thinking the way that I do, and the way that I process information. And I'm able to take that and transfer it to, the younger generation in a way that they can actually accept it. Um, I remember Ed saying to me one time that, you are going to get to the point where younger girls will see you and they'll be intrigued by you. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we had this conversation on Sunday where
Yep.
we live in a visual society. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger, I was into the visual. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
lie. We all want to
Mm-hmm.
look good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all put a lot of effort into that. But as you get older, you get a little more mature, you understand that it's not all about the physical. The physical is important. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
sit here and say it's not, but there's more emphasis placed on the invisible you, the true you on the inside. That's where
Mm-hmm.
the emphasis is placed. So I'm at the
Mm-hmm.
point right now where that's where I'm putting a lot of my energy to
Yeah.
improving that invisible part that no one gets to see, that I know that's there, that I know what
Mm-hmm.
the weaknesses are, and I know what I need to do to make that invisible me better. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's important. Ed, I get it now, Ed. I get it. Did you
Uh-oh, what
guys
happened?
I think we kind of like froze for like a minute. Ed, are
Yeah,
you
we
there?
froze for a minute. We froze for a minute. So go ahead. You were saying to make it your invisible you better.
Yes. Put an emphasis on the invisible me.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever, I'm approached by younger women or women my age or older, um, they're attracted by the physical.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, as I explained to you guys, sometimes I would be a little hesitant in the way that I receive that. But
Mm-hmm.
thank you for that conversation because you guys really got me thinking and looking at it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so definitely, I'm going to utilize that knowledge, that the seeds that you guys planted on Sunday, and I'm going to use that to transfer the positive energy of,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the invisible you, and
Mm-hmm.
getting back to in connection with spirit
Yes.
versus what society has us focus on,
Mm-hmm.
materialistic
Mm-hmm.
things and the
Yeah.
physical body that is really not going anywhere. Because, if you have lost a loved one, you understand that the
Mm-hmm.
physical body means nothing. It stays right here. And you
Yeah.
need to tap in and improve that invisible part of you, that self within, that you
Mm-hmm.
need to do work on, that nobody may
Mm-hmm.
know, because we all
That's
put on a
right.
facade. We all have a representative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important, thank you to everyone who's joining us. Thank you for sending out messages as you've been sending. I've been sending out and people are joining. So welcome the Sisters for Harmony. We are here with our special guest this evening who has been one of Edmund's mentees for several years now. Annfiera, she is an architect by schooling. All right, graduated from Temple University, cherry and white all day, all night. So yes, y'all, I can drop some bars if I need to. So,
Oh Lord.
and she's a fashion person in her own right.
Yes, she is.
So y'all are gonna have to make sure you join the Ask Dr. Walls 525 page because she's gonna come on the Flowering Fashionista and we're gonna focus on some of her fashion choices at
Oh
another
boy.
point in time. But tonight we're gonna talk to her about her amulets that she makes. And some people may call them jewelry, but they're beyond jewelry. And if you want to know what I mean by
What's
beyond
going
jewelry,
on?
most people
Hey,
don't
Doctor.
take
There you go. We lost you there for a second, Doctor Walt.
most people don't take a shell and turn it into this spectacular piece of
Wow.
work. Okay?
Wow.
Most people are not looking at a shell and saying, you know what? this is beyond bedazzling to be able to intricately design all of this by hand All right. So each piece is unique. And I'm going to pull up some additional pieces while she is talking. So let's talk about this process of you waking up one day and saying, you know what? I think I'm going to start creating things like this.
Okay. So, whew,
What's it like to see
it,
your own work? Before you answer that, what's it like to see your own work? And she did this ring too. Let me tell you.
so you're showing the pieces, and I'm looking at them, and I'm in awe, like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's I don't have the words to explain, but what I would say is that one of the things that you guys mentioned when we first started, when we talked about frequency,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about vibration and energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we understand that everything emits a certain type of energy,
Mm-hmm.
colors,
Yeah, oh yeah.
sound. Okay. So, with that being said, and with that in mind, okay, wow, with that in mind, whenever I go to design a piece or begin to design a piece, sometimes I have an idea of how I want the piece to look. And most times in the middle of creating that piece, something happens and it changes and it turns into something else. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like our life. We all have an idea of what we want our life to be. We all have an idea of what we want to do. But sometimes when you start that process, you start on that journey, things things come your way that you have to dodge, or you have to come up with a plan B, or you have to, make some adjustments, and then it end up being something more than what you could even mentally fathom,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this particular piece that you're showing, the previous one, yes, this
Mm-hmm.
particular piece, um
Mm.
I created that piece probably about a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started that
Mhm.
piece, I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just started.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of times I will hold on to the crystal and I'll feel the energy that that crystal is emitting. Um, I cannot capture all of the energies, all of the frequencies that that crystal is putting out, but I try to capture as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So there, yes, I can duplicate pieces. I can make similar pieces, but a lot of times I allow the crystal to speak to me. I allow myself, I open up myself to feel the energy coming from it. And then I'm able to design and create it.
Mm-hmm.
So actually it's been a little long. I think that piece was created about probably like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sometime in November I created it. Oh wow. Uh a lot of I tell people the designs is from the ether, because I'm connecting with the crystal. I'm connecting with the stone, and I'm allowing it to lead me and guide me on what needs to happen to create and capture some of the energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when I see pieces that I've created in the past, sometimes I'm blown away, like, oh my God, wow, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And how long does it take you to? I know each piece, as we can see, is very different and unique. On average, I don't, and if you can, how long is it taking you to do these pieces?
It can take me anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to an
Mm-hmm.
hour. Consistently, probably 2 hours to 3 hours consistently. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that is not, a lot of times people ask me how long will it take you to create a piece. What I say is this: I've done a lot of trial and error to get to this
Mm-hmm.
point that I can hold a piece, identify the energy that it's emitting, and be able to capture some of that energy and wrap it, right? That was
Mm-hmm.
not always the case. It's kind of like a painter, being able to execute an amazing painting in like 10 minutes, or
Mm-hmm.
a sketch, or artist being able to sketch something in 10 minutes. It's years. There's a lot of years behind that. There's a lot of experience. There's a lot of trial and error. So yes, I can say it would take me about 20, 30 minutes, 10 minutes sometimes to do a piece, an hour, 2 hours. But the amount of times I've made errors and I went back and corrected it or took it apart
Mhm.
and did it over again, understanding the different metal, understanding that copper is different from brass, which is
Mhm.
different from silver and is different from gold. So
Let's
you have
talk
to
about that a little bit. What is the difference? You use a lot of copper, you use a lot of brass.
yeah,
Why?
I use a lot of copper because copper is electrical conductor and it amplifies the energy.
Mhm.
Um, right now I have on my wrist, I have a piece
Oh
of
no!
sterling silver.
Mhm.
But then I also have, I don't know if
Did
you can see it, it's
did you
wrapped with
hear that, Dr.
copper
Walls?
and
What she
gold.
said? What she just said?
Oh, wait a minute. She went out for a little bit.
Can you hear
Let's
me?
see. Yeah, now I can. You said on your wrist you have
I
what? A
said on
piece
my
of
wrist
silver?
I have a bracelet, right? It's made out
Mhm.
of sterling silver, okay?
Mhm.
0.9999. And then I also have copper wrapped and gold wrapped. And the reason
Mhm.
why I did that is because we understand silver is a conductor of electricity. The next
Mhm.
one after silver is copper and is followed by gold.
Mhm.
So putting all of those together, you feel it. Your body feels it. And
Mhm.
sometimes you may not be able to identify what it is, but you're like, you know what? I feel a certain way. We call it vibe. The vibe's a bit different, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I back to why I use copper. Copper is more it's readily available than
Okay.
silver, and so it's an electric conductor. So the energy that the crystal is already emitting is amplified when it's wrapped with copper.
Mhm. Now, what I want, I don't know, for people who are listening, if you have ever worked with copper, worked with brass, these are not easily malleable metals. Is that fair to say?
It's not. It's
It's
not.
not.
Depending on the gauge of the copper, you may have to heat it up to get it
Mhm.
to form properly. You have to understand the metal. And you also
Mhm.
have to understand what it is you're doing. What is it you're trying to accomplish? Like this piece right here, that's a
Mhm.
big gauge. That's about 10 gauge. Okay.
Mhm.
So I needed to understand that stone and understand the 10 gauge and understand what I needed to do to accomplish this.
Mhm. Mhm. And you are, and I want people to understand she's making all of this by hand. Like you don't have a machine you don't have a cricket that you're going in
I don't.
and designing. You are literally with a pair of pliers and cutters. You're twisting. See, y'all, this is what I'm talking about the fashion. Y'all saw that moment, right? She has made all of these and then some. All right, come on, fashionista. We see you. Go ahead. Now, this summer, you had a chance at the International African Street Festival in Brooklyn. You presented your creations. And was that one of your first times? Here's the display from this summer. Was that one of your first times displaying so much of your work in one area outside of your own home?
Yes, yes. I did do the African Art Festival, the International Art Festival, the previous year, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have as many pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at these pieces, for example, this piece right here with the evil eye wrapped with copper, you have seven of them in total, because I'm into numerology, but architect is not, right? Um, so we understand numbers carry a certain energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
um, as I look at these pieces, I see how I have evolved as a designer, how I have
Mm-hmm.
evolved in understanding the materials that I'm using and how
Mm-hmm.
to get a particular look. When I took everything out, and that, funny enough, that was not everything that I had created.
It
I
was
have
not.
so much more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's I listen. It's a talent that I was able to tap into. Um, some hidden knowledge that I was able to
Mm-hmm.
decode in
Mm-hmm.
my DNA. and
Mhm.
I'm doing this. And I'm
Mhm.
grateful. I'm happy and I'm blessed that I'm blessed to be able to tap
Mhm.
into this
And
aspect of my life.
so you've been using stones, you've been using crystals, you've also used, what was that? Was it a shark tooth or a bear? What
Yes.
type of tooth was that?
Yes, I've used shark tooth. This is a ram horn.
Mm.
Uh,
The
I'm
previous
very
one?
I try to be very diverse with the pieces and how I wrap them and different textures, different that I have no limits. I'll wrap
Mhm.
anything. This piece right here, this piece was a challenge. This piece was I was challenged to make a choker.
Mhm.
Never done one before.
Who would do something
And
like that?
uh, Ed, do you have any idea?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
And when it was done and I looked at it, I was kind of amazed that
Mhm.
this is something that I thought of. Again, just like architecture, that's just like designing a space, thinking of
Mhm.
something, taking it from the thought realm and bringing it into the physical realm,
Mhm.
and having someone look at it and appreciate the design elements that you're able to incorporate within it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing because this piece originally started out as just a string of golden tiger's eye, and it morphed once it got into your hands. Who knew that
That-
that string of tiger's eye, golden tiger's eye, sitting in the middle of a table of thousands, that was what it wanted to become?
Yeah, beautiful.
It's
Absolutely
breathtaking.
beautiful.
Go ahead, brother Moja.
No, I'm just looking at what she has done, and it's kind of interesting. She said a few things, and for those who are listening and sitting back and getting the vibrations of what she's saying, be very
Hmm.
mindful. What she is giving you is $1 billion of knowledge. It's a
Hmm.
knowledge that the United States government, all governments use. The space, my degree is in electronics. I worked on aerospace electronics for over close to 30 years. We know about the planes, the jets that the United States have it, other countries have it, the jets that cannot be seen by radar. How do they do that? It's because of the design, the angles of the material they use on those jets. So what she's giving you and what she's talking about, all governments are using it. Okay, so you're getting, and that's why I said to you, you'll have the young people come around her, listen to what she's saying, because the material she's using, why she's using this one instead of that one when she's wrapping them and all this, the vibrations, all these things that she's talking about, family, is used by our government to design stuff.
Hmm.
So she is like, people used to say, you could say she's the affordable part of the things that the government do, and she's giving it to us to use. And we are at the calendar year. We're in the last month of this calendar year. Okay, and for those of us who deal with numbers and those of us who understand energy, and for us, for those of us who are Christians, we understand, and you should understand energy, because in your Christian Bible, um, there was a group of people who marched around a city 7 times before it felt the walls came down, and that was
There was the
the vibe,
vibration.
the
Hmm.
vibration, and all what spirit did was it had them be obedient and magnify that vibration to bring those walls down. So we know about that. We know also, if you're in the military, if you were in the military, you are in the military, when and I'm pretty sure they still do, when they march across a bridge, they go off, they don't stay in unison, because of the vibration of them marching is not a safe thing for the bridges, mostly the small bridges. So when they get ready to go across the bridge, they go off. They go off. They don't stay in sequence with each other like they do when they're marching across a regular street. So
Hmm.
we know in government the power of vibrations. We see it all the time. How many times have you picked something up in your hand and you say, "Oh, this feels so different. This feels good. It's making me feel good," because your body is vibrating with the vibrations of that material in your hand. And if that ever happened to you, check out what material that is, because you and that material are in unison. So
Hmm.
what she's doing here is giving us some of what is done by big governments, big companies, and she's making it affordable for us, and she's making it available for us. So think about what you're giving to your family during this season.
Mm-hmm.
and why you're giving it to them. So as you listen to it, and that's why I asked you to have young people. If you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat room. They could do that, right, Dr. Wall? They could put their
Yes,
questions
of
in the chat
course.
room.
Of
Oh,
course.
so she's not a jewelry maker. She's an amulet designer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we have to be
Mm-hmm.
very mindful of the words we use. We tell our children all the time, be careful of the words we use, because we know the words. What does the words do? They vibrate out of us and they put energy out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
we
right.
do this every day. So we did. So what we're doing here, Sister Annafiera, and what she's doing is giving us more information to empower the community. And as we empower, we get stronger. We get more knowledge. The knowledge is power. So I thank her for coming on tonight and sharing some of her wealth with us.
Mm-hmm. And I've put the link in the chat for people so you can see her work. Now, and people can buy these items,
Yes,
right?
yes.
What is the best place? How should they get in contact you? Where should they go to look at pricing and so forth? And you also create specialty items. So if someone wants something uniquely theirs, so like for instance, I know people just watch me do the unboxing of this particular item, which you and Edmund designed and created for my birthday.
Yes,
So
yes.
if people want specialty pieces, that's also possible. So where do they go? How do they get in contact with you?
So they will send me you could send me an email at modernrelic at gmail.com. That's MODERNRELX as an
Mm-hmm.
X-ray at gmail.com. Also, you can send me a message via Instagram, Modern Relics. And also, I can be reached via our Etsy um, shop.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the pieces are posted there. For custom pieces, I can better be reached via email, Modern Relics, or via the IGDM.
Hmm.
Yes.
And now
Yes.
let's take a moment and let's talk about this right here because you have received a lot of acclaim and awards, and you even just informed one. I'm gonna stop just for a moment so that you can come back to center for people to see. You have been honored a lot lately for various things. So let's share some of your accomplishments that you've been
Yes,
recognized for.
share. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
Anfiera.
So I have been I did receive some accomplishment, not just for myself, my personal, my career. So right now, I am a senior project manager, healthcare, with a focus in healthcare,
Oh no, we're
and
gonna have you repeat that because you kind of went out. You are now a senior what?
a senior project manager, a focus in healthcare. And my goal is to utilize the knowledge, the skills that I've acquired and throughout my career to execute uh, amazing projects that's going to better the community, our community, really. And in
Mm-hmm.
doing so, I want to tap into the talents that our community have. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to seek out of the community talents. I try to look within the community for, the various, the contractors, the tradesmen that I know that have the skills, but are never given the opportunity to really showcase that. Being
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of these hospitals are in our community, there's a sense of connection there, and so they'll be more driven to put their best foot forward,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
also me giving them the opportunity to work in the healthcare field. That's a very hard field to get into,
Mm-hmm.
but once you have done projects in healthcare, you pretty much you have taken your career from one level and brought it up to the next. It's kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
project manager. A regular
Mhm,
project manager is
mhm.
amazing. You learn a lot, but when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing healthcare project management, you are in another tier.
Mm-hmm.
um, so I got a WBC award, Women's Builder Council award this year. I was one of the outstanding leadership. Um, and so I was honored by my company. They
Um,
saw everything that I've been doing, all of my contributions, and so they recognize that, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for that because it's very good to be a part of an organization that actually um, they see your talent, they see your drive,
Mhm.
and they continue to push forth, right? And
Mhm.
then also earlier this year, I received an award for Modern Relics and the designs that I've been doing, the amulets that I've been
Mhm.
creating. Um, and I received the award from the Mayor's Department, Congresswoman Yvette Clark, and also
Out of New
Senator
York.
out of New York, correct.
Mhm.
And again, that was amazing opportunity to be able to have items, thoughts that you had
Mhm.
transferred into the physical realm and have individuals appreciate it to the point where
Mhm.
you recognize
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Dr. Walton, this is why I asked people to have the young people listen to what she had to say.
Mhm.
She has a lot to offer family, and when we have these black jewels, these black pearls in our community, and we find them, we don't hide them. We
Mhm.
take them and we share them with the community so we could make our community stronger.
Mhm.
In Nguzo Saba, we have a principle called Ujima, collective work and responsibility, which is the third principle.
Mhm.
And every time I see what Annafiera is doing, I think about Ujima, collective work and responsibility. What do we do collectively and understand our responsibility to make our global community stronger, more focused, and on
Mhm.
point? So I'm really happy to see her doing this. And that's why I ask people to please share the link with the young people. Take them away from the TV for 45 minutes to an hour. Just let them
Mhm.
listen to it because what she's sharing with them, they're not going to get this on television. They're not going
Mhm.
to get this on television.
Mhm.
Um, One thing I just want to add real quick, Ed, my famous ones.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that came about by accident. I was actually watching a TV series, Charmed, and I said, it would be cool if I made a wand. And so
Okay.
I just started working on it. And
Okay, Harry Potter.
as time went by, I know, right? I'm a big Harry Potter fan as well. It just evolved into this.
Wow.
Mhm.
But one thing I
Wow.
want to add real quick on the same, we're talking about frequencies and the importance of frequencies. Crystals, we know, carry frequencies.
Yeah.
They also have
Mhm.
a lot of knowledge locked in there.
Yep.
So one of the things that I do is I did a lot of extensive research, and I was able to understand how to charge the crystal to emit the energy that's within it. And
Mhm.
so it's along the lines of all the Tesla uh, uh, um,
Mhm.
experiments that's been done. But
Mhm.
I do offer my clients that purchase from me the opportunity to charge their crystals,
Mhm.
and sometimes even program certain frequencies into the crystals. So, for example, we know 528 hertz heals your
Mhm.
DNA. So,
Mhm.
charging the crystal with 528 hertz, that will emit that type of energy. We
Mhm.
understand that quartz crystal is very important, right? People don't talk
Mhm.
about it, but it's involved in so many different things. Like your basic clock has quartz crystal. Your pineal gland within your brain has the consistency of quartz crystal.
Mhm.
And quartz carry a lot of hidden knowledge. Tapping into that
Mhm.
and charging the crystal emits that energy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
again, back
Yep.
to Edmund's word as far as amulet. This is why it's not just jewelry, right? That may need to be the tagline. It's not
It's
just
not.
jewelry,
I like
right?
that. It's not just jewelry, it's amulet.
That's right.
Mhm. Oh, you guys are having fun. Okay.
Ah,
No, no, and people, yeah, please pay attention to what she's doing because no, she's talking about things that is done by big business, by billion-dollar businesses.
mhm,
Okay, and she's giving it to us at an affordable price in
mhm,
our community. You know, it's kind of interesting. We do all these things, and we let people do all these things around us, and we buy these things when they give us watered down versions of them. And here we have someone giving us the aspect, the full version of it, and we're doing
uh-oh.
definitely.
Edmund,
We
you
missed
you
that. You froze up a little bit.
you
Can you
froze
repeat
up.
that?
Say it again, Edmund.
Oh no, I was saying that what she's giving us right now, Dr. Walls, and those who are
Yes.
listening, is things that big Fortune 500 companies use every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, think about that. These companies use this every day. They don't tell you that, but they do. They
Mm-hmm.
find people like Annfiera and say, "Oh, this is nice." They give her a nice contract and give her and put her underneath an exclusive contract that she can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
They can't talk about it, and then those people
Mm.
disappear. And we're blessed that we have Annfiera still here in the community doing this.
Yeah.
It's not going to be long. It's not going to be long before someone's going to try to snatch. They probably try to snatch her up already from us because she's giving you some serious knowledge and power, and
And
we need to
healing.
So
be
this is one of
mindful
the
of
Right.
ways
that.
that,
You know,
not to
so
interject, but
yeah,
that's one of the
definitely
ways I
check it out
actually
what she's doing.
charge. That's
Uh-oh,
the way.
wait. Say it again, Anna. You breaking up. Say it
This
again.
is beautiful.
That was one of the ways that I charge the crystals. So if you
So
go back
what do
to
you
that
think, Dr.
video,
Walls? What's next?
Uh-oh. She was saying that was one that was being charged. This
charge.
right here?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. See this, yeah, y'all have to go. You have to follow her on Instagram. She posts things all the time. This is on her Modern Relics page. You can see MODERNRELX. Definitely, I mean, it is amazing to look at these pieces again. She is creating all of these pieces by hand. She is twisting them.
Hmm.
She's bending them. She's creating the intricate designs. And this is why no two pieces are the same. I told her I need other people to buy this stuff. I can't be the only one buying it all because nobody else is. They're all gonna be housed right here with me. I won't be mad, but I'm just saying.
Well, Dr. Walls,
Yes.
let's be real about this. Before Beyonce starts buying it and before Taylor Swift start buying
Come
it,
on. Come on.
you guys have an opportunity because you know what's going to happen when they start buying it, right? Okay, so it's just a matter of time, family. Be real
Mm-hmm.
about it because you see the stuff that they do and the stuff that they're wearing already. Her stuff fits right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Beyonce is very knowledgeable about frequencies and stuff like that because we heard her
Mm-hmm.
speak about it. You've seen what she has done with her music. The
Mm-hmm.
music is frequency,
Wow.
right? So we've seen what she has done with her music. So it's just a matter of time before
Uh-oh, he froze up on us again. He was saying it's
yes.
just a matter of time.
I
Yeah, I want
did.
to. Yeah, you froze up just for a moment. Yes, Danielle says hello. She says my girl is the bomb.
Oh, Danielle, Dr. Danny.
Danielle has been here. She said I have her pieces. They are
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
So yes, Shamsuddin, he came on. He said, just think this mathematics was with us from the start, but
Yes, it
we've
was.
been dumbed down over the years. We need to get back to that.
Ashe,
Correct,
Ashe. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And we need to start wearing pieces and crystals that are charged so that we can protect our aura. Our aura
Mm-hmm.
extend in six direction or six directions, front, back, up,
You
down.
better
You
teach.
got to protect your aura because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you come in contact with somebody that aura is not on the same frequency. They may not be, they may be vibrating on a low frequency, and you say, I don't know, something about this person. I don't know their vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like being around that person. Their energy is not in sync with yours. It's not aligned with yours. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to protect your aura. You have to protect your field. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
As Ed said, this is what has been used for years against us, where they're tapping into frequency. And because we don't understand it, we cannot communicate it. We just feel like some don't feel right. You don't know what it
Mm-hmm.
is. You have
Mm-hmm.
to protect your aura. It's very important,
Yep.
especially in this day and age, and especially where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And there's
Yeah.
so much healing in these things. It was interesting. I had been having problems with this finger, and there had been pain in it. And then we came up to visit one day, and I saw this ring. And as soon as I put it on, all the pain in my finger went away. And I was
Yes,
like,
because
okay.
copper is an electric conductor, and we are electrical beings.
Uh-oh, you
Okay, so
broke
it's
up. Say
very
it again, Anna.
copper is an electric conductor, and we are electrical beings. And
Hold on.
so,
She's frozen.
You
oh, can
saying
you hear me now? Can you hear me
let's,
now?
okay, there we go. You said copper.
I said copper is an electric conductor and we are electrical beings. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to increase the copper that you have when you specifically when you have joint
Yes,
pain. and it will go
Mhm.
away.
Mhm. And it's and I wear it. I told you the other day. Ever since that day, I wear it every single day. And sometimes I do take it off, and then as soon as I start to feel any type of pain, I put it back on, and it disappears. It's instant. It's instant.
Yes.
Now let's talk about this for a moment. I know we're at the top of the hour, and I'm mindful of everyone's time as far as cleansing these pieces, because to your point, right, they're absorbing energies, they're protecting you from what are recommendations on how people can cleanse the pieces?
So if you're cleansing a regular piece of uh, crystal
Mm-hmm.
that's not wrapped, I recommend you use either sage. You can use seawater if you're close to a beach. You can use, I have a guess right now.
Is this Puss or Lucy? Who's got, well,
Oh,
hello.
hey, that's Puss.
She said, look, y'all said an hour is up. It's now
It's more
my
than an
time.
hour.
Okay,
Exactly.
we're finishing up, hon. We promise.
1 second, okay? You would use seawater is a great way to cleanse your crystal. Also, sun, and
Mhm,
she's not letting up.
mhm.
Sun and the sunlight and also the moonlight.
Yes,
You
yes.
use to cleanse your crystal. If you want to cleanse a wrap crystal with copper, you would
Mhm.
use, funny enough, ketchup.
Hmm, I
Okay.
didn't know that one.
So you need to think about that and the aesthetic nature of ketchup and
Uh-oh,
what it can
you're breaking up on us. We heard ketchup.
ketchup and the aesthetic nature of
Okay.
ketchup and
Mm-hmm.
what it would do to your body on the inside. So if you really love ketchup, I highly suggest you look up how to make your own ketchup and you
Mm-hmm.
get your tomatoes and your vinegar and you create your own ketchup
Mm-hmm.
because regular ketchup has a lot of chemicals and the chemicals can cleanse can take a tarnished piece of copper and bring it back to something shiny, so we need to pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why the copper is doing that is because when we sweat we let out salt and
Mm-hmm.
that's going to change the color of the copper.
Mm-hmm.
So ketchup is one. You can also use lime juice,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and
Mm-hmm.
salt. You can
Mm-hmm.
also use vinegar,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
White
Anything
vinegar
that's
or apple cider?
white vinegar,
Okay.
and a little bit of salt, but you don't want to keep it in there for too long because then
Mm-hmm.
that is going to damage the copper. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that's really aesthetic will actually clean copper and bring it back to a shiny
Mm-hmm.
original state.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right. Well, are there any? Of course, we're going to have you on again because you are family. And as I mentioned to people, I'm going to have you on the Flowering Fashionista show. So we're going to arrange that date. So please make sure you are subscribed to Ask Dr. Walls 525. Any final words, words of wisdom, words of inspiration, all the above that you want to give to people? And then I'll pass the mic to you, Edmund, for the same.
I'm just gonna
Um,
say
Well, we're
all
going
I
to
have
let
to
Emma
say is
go
thank
first,
you.
Edmund.
Okay, okay.
um, I would say that we are all here for a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And
Mm-hmm.
some people spend their entire life trying to figure out what that purpose is. It's important that we place emphasis on that and understand what our purpose is, okay? So that we can walk that path. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We came into this realm, it's not by accident. Now, people that you encounter, there's a reason for that. Things that you do, talents that just comes out of nowhere, it seems. There's a reason for that. There's a message. There's something that you need to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone that you need to heal, someone that you need to assist with that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would say to everyone, it's very important that we tap into that, understanding what our purpose is. I would also say that it's great to focus on all the external things that's going on, but it's also important to focus on the interior and look
Mm-hmm.
at your invisible self.
Yes.
Go within, okay? Because once you understand self, you can understand everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's one of the things that I want to leave people with. And trust yourself, trust your instinct.
Yes.
You know what's good for you.
Yes.
Okay, a lot of times we will know what's going on. We'll have an idea of how to proceed with something, but we tend to go ask somebody else or try to get
Mhm.
some type of validation from somebody. But what you
Mhm.
don't understand is your life that you live, no one else has lived that. They
That's
may
right.
have some similar situations, but it's not yours. So
That's right.
instead of going outside to get validation, and sometimes you get doubt, go
Mhm.
within, go
Mhm.
within. Everything you need to know is within.
That's right.
Trust your instinct.
That's right. That's right. Learn your inner voice. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Brother Mojo, go for it.
No, I'm just going to say ditto to everything she said because what she said is on point. There's nothing
Mhm.
for me to add to what she just said. So this,
Mhm.
uh, amen goes right there.
Amen and ditto. Sham said,
Yeah.
wow, needed to hear what she said about trusting yourself. All right. Well, we got it there. We got it there.
You
All
have all
right.
the answers.
Yes, that's right. Sham said, they say if you don't go within, you go without.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. He just trying to get a tambourine shake. All right, Sham. Here you go. Look, here, baby. Yes,
Ashe,
he said,
ashe.
yes, that's exactly what he said. That's what he
Oh,
said.
okay.
Yep. All right, y'all. Until we meet again, as always, continue to live your greatest life. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Columbia 3 products and service that we love and
Oh,
you got good turnout. You got
oh my
good
God.
turnout.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I really do. I genuinely do. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
Jamelia said,
thank you. And
oh,
thank
you're
you for
welcome.
taking the time. Well, actually trusting me enough
Of
and
course.
taking the time to really appreciate what it is I create. That is very it's great.
Yes.
Okay. It makes me feel like, what I do to have someone appreciate it, that says a lot. And Ed, thank you for your patience. You've been very patient with me over the years, and I'll continue to walk that path. So, just understand everything that you said, all the seeds that you planted over those years, way back when, they resonate with me. They stuck with me,
Mhm.
and that's why I am who I am today. And this is just the beginning.
Mhm.
Ashe, ashe.
Anything you want to say to that, Brother Moja?
I didn't say ashe, ashe. God, spirit is real. My teacher told me
Mhm.
spirit is real, and every day, spirit, I just know spirit is real. So ashe, ashe to
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I think it's important because there's many of us on here who have mentored people of various ages, sometimes younger than us, sometimes the same age, sometimes older than us, right? And understanding fertile ground and understanding that when we plant seeds, sometimes we don't know when they're going to grow, but know that you have planted them and that they take root. And as a farmer, as Ed will talk about him being a farmer, seeds grow at different rates, okay? But it's fertile ground nonetheless. It takes the time that it takes in order for it to grow. And just because you may not see it growing does not mean that it's not growing, right?
Yeah.
It takes a while. You plant a seed, it takes
Mhm.
root, and then it has to break through the ground. So, for those who are having a positive impact in other people's lives, continue to water and nurture the seeds that you've planted and just know you're doing your part and the seed is going to do its part.
Hey, Dr. Walls, I just want to say
Yes.
happy. I like to say happy anniversary to my wife. Okay, when you see her, please tell her I said
Oh,
happy anniversary.
You guys are the best. I
happy
love it.
anniversary to
I'm
you,
here for it.
darling. That's right. Yes, yes, yes. Cherie said, allow your heart to be open to receive it. Yes, I
Yeah.
love these affirmations. I love this positive energy that's coming. That's why I'm like, I'm not quick
Hmm.
to hang up. I know I got to hang up, but it's like I want it to be seen. I want it to pour over. And we talked about frequency, we talked about vibration, and we never know whose message is going to impact
Yeah.
somebody else, right? The three of us can say the
Yeah.
same thing and impact different audiences. And this is
Correct.
why this is why I'm pulling it up. As Jamila says, I needed the enlightenment and validation to trust my intuition and internal messages. Sham said the same thing. And so we're each feeling, fueling, and feeding and nurturing each other to be the best versions of ourselves.
I totally agree. I'm a walking testimony about trusting yourself, trusting your
Mhm.
inner voice. You know what's best for you.
Mhm.
And you have to trust yourself. I
Yes.
can't stress that. It has helped me so much in so many areas, so many aspects of my life. So
Mhm.
I urge before seeking out there knowledge out there or validation out there from someone else, go within.
Mhm.
Back in the day,
Mhm.
our ancient ancestors, they would fast. They would fast for
Mhm.
3 days. I actually still do that. If
Mhm.
I'm dealing with some
Mhm.
type of hurdle or some
Yes.
type of issue, specifically at work, I will fast. I will stop eating
Yep.
for about three
Yep.
days. I'll go on a water fast, and then I will go to sleep and meditate on what it is I want,
Mhm.
and be able to manifest that. There's ways to
Mhm.
manifest things into the physical realm. So you have some issues that some hurdles. Take some time. Take a break, because when you eat, your body's naturally gonna digest the food. You
Mhm.
can't eat a piece of bread and tell your body, hold on 1 second,
Right.
don't digest me. It's naturally gonna happen. So if you
Yes.
stop that, you're using 100% of your energy to your brain. And now you're
Mhm.
able to get clarity on whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever issues you may have. Go within self.
Mhm.
Don't stop going outside. Go within.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And the other piece that I'm thinking is the power and the importance of trusting yourself, because you
Hmm.
had the image in your head of whatever that first item was that you created. And you could have disregarded it by saying, no, this is not something I'm going to do. You could have disregarded that image that you had and said, oh, I'm not a jewelry maker. Oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm an architect. And if you had not followed through on that inner knowing, on that trusting, on that trying, right, to create whatever that first image was that you saw, that now has turned into all of these pieces, all
Hmm.
of these
Hmm.
amulets, these rings, these bracelets, these necklaces, the choker, the headpieces, the wands, all of these pieces that have touched my life personally, right? And then touch everybody else's life as I wear them when I do presentations and so forth. And as you mentioned, I think you said it was a Dr. Danny who's in the chat, who wear, that person wearing the pieces in so many other people's lives, all because you trusted that moment of insight, right? That inner sight that saw what your physical eyes didn't see in that moment, that your conscious mind didn't know in that moment, but your unconscious, your subconscious, your spirit, your invisible self, as you put it, knew very well that this was a part of your reality.
Yeah. Remember,
So,
the subconscious mind is way more powerful and stronger than the conscious
yeah,
mind. And we need to
yeah,
start understanding the powers that lie within us.
come on. That's it. That's two tambourines and a
I know. I think we lost Ed.
yeah, he slid to the side, but it's all right. He is super proud and super thankful that you joined us this evening. We thank everyone for joining us. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Ask Dr. Walls 525. So many more podcasts coming up. As I mentioned, Anna will be back. She'll be on my Flowering Fashionista podcast. We'll be talking about
We're
that.
talking about fashion.
Yes, we're gonna be talking about fashion. Y'all already saw some clips of her in the fashion.
I will be dolled up for that. For
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
This is regular.
All right, y'all. So until we meet again, as always, God bless and continue to live your greatest life. And we'll see you soon.
Thank
Be
you.
well. And happy holidays,
Peace.
everyone. Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.